Now we will be doing questions, so what's going to happen is we're going to bring up on stage these two lovely people in just a second. When the questions happen, we want you to raise your hand if you wish to ask one. Upstairs, we may get dropouts from mics and things here, so questions, we're going to try and do questions from up there as well too, but mainly from down the bottom here. So keep an eye out for myself and Magda and Fraser. We'll be here ready to take some questions. But without any further mucking around, I think it's time we introduce the lovely people to the stage that we're going to have here. I'm quite excited too, because we have with us the people who played Luna Lovegood and James Potter. It's Evanna Lynch! Take a seat. We have a couch each and a microphone each. So, how are you both? Excellent, lovely, good, lovely. And what are you thinking of Armageddon so far? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been fabulous. Everyone's been so nice.
Really quiet, really small. There's not really many people here to see us. So.
Yeah, it's just a little crowd here. People falling off the balcony. That's fantastic.
How did the quiz go?
The quiz, it went really well. It was run by Wiz Ed before. It went well, yes, people? Yes? There was one lady in particular who was along the end there, and she was so worried about getting one particular question right, and she went with the audience. It became a real Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing. And she said, "Yeah, I trust you," and it was wrong, and she just about fell apart. Yeah, it was quite intense for a while there. So yeah. Anyway, so good to have both of you here. Can I just say, first of all, is it true? I don't mean to branch off. I'm going to go into questions soon. But you have a fashion. You make fashion accessories, or you have a fashion label, Evanna?
No.
Not a label, I mean. No. You have fashion accessories. Is that right?
I made some of the accessories that Luna wore in the film.
Oh, right, okay, you made those, yeah, awesome. No, I heard that around and I have to check that out. That's lovely. Enough blathering about that there. I'm going to hop down and take some questions. So, do we have a question ready to go from anybody around here? Fraser and Magda. Oh, look at these people down here. This is absolutely lovely. The scarves going on. Fraser? Let's take our first question.
Why are you so awesome?
That one's going to be for you, I think.
Let's do the water.
It's a hard one to feel, isn't it? We just head over here because you're Irish, that could be it. And Robbie. All right, Magda?
Hi. Hello.
This one's for Evanna. How much do you think that you relate to your character?
How much do I relate to the character? Yeah, quite a lot. That's, really how I got the part, because I just felt I understood her very much so. I think, yeah, when I first encountered her and was thinking about her a lot, I remember I understood her and I really wanted to kind of aspire to be like her. I wouldn't say that, like, I am her, but I definitely take a lot of inspiration from her character, and I just love her outlook on the world, where she's so open-minded and she's so sort of generous of spirit. Like, she's never thinking about herself or about what other people are thinking about her. She's just always interested in her surroundings and always curious and never judging. So yeah, I think I share that outlook, but it still is a struggle. Like, sometimes you do get negative, so she is definitely more aspirational to me than what I am. But yeah, every day, kind of, if I'm going, anytime I have a challenge, I always think, what would Luna do? And it usually helps me.
That's one of the cool things about sort of doing, because you said this before, Luna Lovegood wouldn't have gone to the Luna Lovegood auditions. She wouldn't have stood there with 50,000 other people to try and get a role in the movie. So it's kind of just as well that you're not completely like her, otherwise you'd never be sat here and you wouldn't have done it.
That's lovely, yes.
Hello.
Yeah, should we just class and close?
Hi, first off, you're like the perfect Luna. I love you. Sorry, this is just a question that I found out on one of those Did You Know things. Is it true that you and Matt Lewis would roll bagels across the set and they'd only find out when they were editing?
That's the weirdest rumor I've ever heard. I've heard it hundreds of times. I don't think they even had bagels on the set. No, sadly not. I mean, we had fun games, but there was no rolling of bagels. I don't know if that, like, innuendo for something, but I'm really... No, that sprang up, and it's like associated, bagels are associated with me and Matt. And you say we should have bought shares in bagels, but no. Sorry.
Hi. Assuming you've both read the books, what scene are you most disappointed didn't get into the movie?
Where are you?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Assuming you've both read the books,
Yeah, we've read the books. Once or twice.
what scene are you most disappointed didn't get into the movies?
Well, you have a good one. You go first.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm biased on this one, but the whole of Snape's worst memory would have been nice to have had in there personally. The thing that kills me, and I've said this a couple of times, is they actually they send when they write it, they write the whole thing pretty much verbatim. I mean, most of the book is in the script. And then gradually they whittle it down and whittle it down and whittle it down until you have 20 lines end up as 15, end up as 10, end up as 5, and it gradually decreases.
And then it's just a moment.
Yeah, then it's just a second. You're an extra. And then you get to film, and then they keep on cutting bits out. So yeah, I mean, obviously I was obsessed with the Marauders even before I was cast. I said yesterday, I think I was actually writing fan fiction before they cast me. That goes back to kind of the related question. I think they deliberately found, certainly among the younger actors, I think they deliberately found people during the audition process who were obsessed with the books and with the whole, the lore, the fan fiction, the world, because they knew it was going to be a big undertaking and they wanted people who believed in it and who cared about it. So yeah, for me, I'd have had the whole thing. And the really annoying thing is they did actually film the stuff with Lily. We had Snitch that I was playing with. Originally, they had us coming out of the exam. The whole thing was in there, and they cut it.
Mine was, I was so upset when they didn't give Dumbledore a proper funeral. I was really heartbroken, and I remember actually going up to David Haim and being like, why? And I was like, and he was kind of like, well, it's a lot of financial, because there's a lot of creatures we have to put in. I was like, I'll give you my paycheck for the movie. I was like, he needs a funeral. But he was like, that wouldn't be enough. But yeah, I didn't think that was a disappointment, especially seeing as Dobby got such a send-off. Half the 7th film was about his funeral. Like Dumbledore did anything big, he just discovered 7 uses of dragon's blood, but hey. So that was disappointing. And then, in terms of Luna's scenes, I was really sad that they didn't put the Quidditch commentation in, because I thought that was so fun. And that's totally what I would have done if I had to commentate a sports match. It's not my game. But yeah, that was it.
Hello, I'm Amanda. I was wondering for Evanna Lynch, what movie did you have the most fun making?
Probably that's a difficult question. I think the 6th one, actually, because that's when the 5th one, I was so scared of everyone. I was new there, and I just couldn't speak to anyone because I was so scared of them. But by the 6th one, I'd really settled in and kind of felt comfortable playing Luna. I didn't feel like I was... All of the 5th film, I just thought I was like a fan who won a competition, and they were going to find me out soon and just sack me. By the 6th one, I was like, okay, they're not sacking me. I'm staying here, and yeah, there were a lot of fun scenes. There's a scene where Harry invited Luna to the ball, and I just, for Luna, for her sake, I just felt it was so nice, like finding her and her sort of circle of friends and her being accepted. It just felt lovely, and I felt really sort of proud of her. And also that one had the lion hat, which was so much fun to wear. So yeah, that one. And then by the 7th one was fun too. But one, I was studying for my exams, which was a nightmare. And also it was the last one, so there was a kind of a sense of, it was bittersweet, you know, as fun as it was like, it is ending. But yeah, 6th one, I felt like Harry Potter was gonna go on forever. It was so nice.
Hi, I'm over here. Can you guys both describe how different your Harry Potter filming experiences were?
Can you repeat the question?
She's just over there. She just wanted you both to describe how.
Describe how different your Harry Potter filming experiences were.
get a lion headdress. I think they were really good. I mean, I know her story because we've done this a few times. Yeah, I think so. But like everything, so the audition process. So she had one massive audition to kind of beat millions and millions of girls, and I didn't have to beat any girls. Sadly. So no, but for James they kind of went through loads and loads of rounds, so it was a bit more like the X Factor or something like that. They kind of whittled us down gradually, and the whole way through I didn't think I was going to get cast anyway, so to me it was a joke. And then yeah, we did all of the stuff we did for Order at a place called Blenheim Palace in England. It was boiling hot, and we were there with Dan, and Alan Rickman was there for a bit. And so somehow everybody always finds out while you're filming, and like they try and keep it a secret, but it's Harry Potter, so there's no way that's ever going to happen. And I remember one of the days they locked up the set, so they sort of kept all the screaming girls about 200 yards away, and it was so hot that everyone was in bikinis. I mean, they're not us, that would be cool. And Dan and I had seats next to each other, and he bounced up next to me and said, "Have you seen those girls over there?" I said, "Yes, mate." And I thought, typical boy comic coming. He went, "Some of them are quite nice." I was like, "Buddy, they're all here for you. Take two, have three if you want. It doesn't matter." Yeah, so it was kind of because it was just boys. There weren't any girls in that part. It was kind of like just a lad's time, so it was kind of fun.
All right, look up. We have Katie upstairs up here. Katie?
It's actually Katie.
Awkward.
Evanna, you're like my idol. You're so amazing. I just love how you went from a Harry Potter fangirl to one of the most iconic characters in the film and books. Anyway, and this is directed at both of you, but what's your favourite pizza topping?
What's your favourite pizza topping?
Oh, we're the most awkward pizza customers ever because he's lactose intolerant, so he can't have cheese. And I'm not funny.
And she's vegan,
well,
so...
I'm trying to be vegan because I feel bad for the
cheese.
cows. But I do like the cheese, so... probably mushroom. Mushrooms are pretty harmless.
Mine would be Hawaiian, but yeah, Hawaiian without cheese, so people always look at me weird whenever I go to pizza places. I don't like being judged at the best of times. I don't need to go somewhere so they can judge me for my food. Oh no, she's trying to make me vegetarian. We went to Hobbiton, the lovely people at Armageddon took us down. Yeah, the wrong kind of wizards.
Tall in that world.
Yeah, we found houses that made her look tall, which was wicked. And yeah, it's also a working farm, so they have all these tiny little beautiful lambs running around. So she was making dough eyes at the lambs, and then she turns to me and says, "Right, you can't eat any more lambs. No more lambs."
That's what I felt like. I felt there's a disconnect. People see the lambs and they go, "Oh," and then they go into the restaurant like, "Lamb burger." Look at that face. You can't do that. That's what Robbie's got out of New Zealand.
Yeah. You mean what I've lost in New Zealand?
Hi, I don't mean to go off topic slightly, but are there like any fandoms or anything other than Harry Potter that you guys are into? And if so, would you be wanting to play a role in them?
Yeah, way too many. That's not like we talked about this. I think if you're a fan of one thing, you're a fan of everything. Robbie describes it as like a hole that you have to fill. So once one fandom is kind of quieting down, you have to fill it with something new. So Robbie actually introduced me to Avatar lately. So I'm a bit obsessed with that.
Yeah, we've been spotting Avatar costumes as they come. It was a bit embarrassing at Melbourne. We saw a guy dressed as an airbender, and I whistled at him and I pulled him over. It was sort of a con in reverse. We were like, come here, get ready. And we had to figure out whether he was Aang as a grown man or Tenzin. And she had Agonite at Tenzin. He turned out to be
Tenzin over Aang.
But it's niche, like, come on. So we've seen a few of you guys dressed as Avatar characters, so we've been geeking out over that. But I think that's kind of one of the things about doing this. There's very little difference between you guys and us. We're kind of all the same. So yeah, we geek out about stuff all the time.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Hunger Games. I love.
And we both watch Game of Thrones religiously.
I like Game of Thrones, but I have a sweater that I have to watch it through because I hate blood and everything. It's so good, so I just want my sweater pulled up. I kind of know what's going on.
Would you please tell her to read the books?
Yes! Read the books! But everyone who reads the books hates the TV series. Well,
They just sit superior and smug in the corner going, I know what's coming next. You like that character? He's going to die.
Hello there. Welcome to Middle Earth. First of all, my sister's in love with you, so yeah. What is your personal imagination thingy of what Nargles are like? Because we would all like to know.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? I think people have the wrong interpretation of Nargles. They think they're these sweet little things. I think they think they're pygmy puffs, those fluffy things that sit on your shoulder. But they're not. They're pests. And like in the wizarding world, they're the things that people spray the shit out of and just kill them. They are. They're just like little bugs that ruin your plants. And yeah, I don't know. I actually did for one of the films because they asked me to make. Because I made some of the jewelry and they asked me to make new things, and I decided to make a Nargle, and that was one of the things that just got shoved aside, like, nah. But I just thought it was like a little bug with lots of wings and eyes. Yeah.
We got asked this at Harry Potter exclusive, Harry Potter only convention, so we had loads of Harry Potter actors, and we kind of sort of put all our ideas into a pot, and the closest thing we came up with, does anyone remember the movie Gremlins?
Yeah.
Like tiny little versions of Gremlins. That was the best we could find to do. So when you think of the picture of that, that's...
My question's for both of you guys. It's just, if you could redo the Harry Potter movies and be any other character, who would you want to be?
I'd probably be Trelawney. I think she's... she's not that far a step from Luna, to be honest. And yeah, I'm a sucker for all those like globes and psychics, and yeah, whenever my life's a bit of a mess, I go to a psychic and tell them. And I know it's not true, but it makes me feel better. So I think I would be a good, what's the divination teacher? And her costumes are cool. Otherwise, Dobby. I played him in a school play when I was really, really young, and everyone, I had a pillow slip and everything. And everyone was like, you were really good, but your voice was so squeaky, we couldn't hear it. So, yeah, but that was pre-Luna.
I like the dominant, badass, masculine character, so I'd be Professor McGonagall.
They have Fantastic Beasts, you know that movie that J.K. Rowling tried out? We both kind of said we'd happily play a creature, a Fantastic Beast, anything.
I'd be a Nargle. Spray the shit out of me with that. Sorry.
Hi. I just wanted to know who was the funnest person on cast to hang out with, and what's the weirdest New Zealand word you've come across so far?
The weirdest New Zealand word's mouldy. Because I thought I understood reading. And I've always said that word Maori, but apparently that's wrong, so yeah, stand correct.
No, you said coolest person, right?
No, first. Was it first or coolest?
Most fun.
Probably Nat Tennant, who played Tonks, because she is pretty much like her character. She's just wild and crazy and says too much and doesn't care. And yeah, she really helped me one time. We did a publicity tour together, I think it was for the last film. And I was stressing out about interviews and everything, and she said, "Mate, stop thinking, stop thinking." I was like, yeah, that's the way to live. Just don't think, just do. Yeah, she's really fun.
Yeah, she's cool. Frank Delane, who plays the young Tom Riddle, is pretty cool as well. Yeah, he's a good guy. And Robbie Coltrane. Robbie Coltrane was actually the very first person I met. We all got together for Order and did a big read-through so they get all the actors in one room. And I was feeling nervous, I think it's probably fair to say. And I saw him stood outside, and he was with some guys, massive, great big guy. And I marched up to him, I was like, "Come on, chin up, chest out, be brave." And I went up to him and went, "Hi, Robbie, my name's Robbie." And he went, "Ha ha!" and picked me up in a bear hug. So yeah, he's cool.
Hi. First of all, I love you guys so much. You're both a real inspiration to me. But if you could have any magical pet, which one would it be and why?
Phoenix. Who wouldn't want a phoenix? Bring you back to life. Pretty. Phoenix would be a cool one. She goes, what's yours?
Yeah, she's always does this. She's picked Phoenix first. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I'd like to be a Phoenix. Or a stag, great big stag. Just hang out with, you know, hang things on him. He can carry stuff for you. She has tons of luggage. She takes luggage everywhere, so I don't think a Phoenix would be down for that. It'd be interesting carrying that.
Or a crumblehorn snorkack, but we don't really know what they are. They sound awesome.
Hi, I was just wondering, this is for both of you. Did you feel a lot of pressure from media and people around you to play your book characters accurately?
I was very determined I had to do right for Luna, but I was also stubborn and I thought that I knew Luna better than anyone, so no one could really. So I was concerned, and also I was very involved in the fandom. So when they were casting Luna, before I even had an audition, I was involved in that, and I wanted to make sure that whoever played it loved it so much. So then yeah, when I got the part, I was like, right, I obviously have a responsibility to the fans out there who love her as much as I do, but I also felt like I can't do this because yeah, there was no character I had much more respect or love for. And then I think when the movies did come out, I started to get very anxious, and people started talking about reviews and that whole world and the movie industry and professionals, not actual Harry Potter fans, giving their opinion. That started to get to me, but I think it was all kind of, all my worries were put away when I met J.K. Rowling because I'd met her before, but I met her after the 5th film, and she gave me a big hug and she said it was perfect, and I kind of was like, you know what, if J.K. Rowling says it's perfect, I don't care about anyone else. I think it's my opinion matters. David Yates, because he's the director, and J.K. Rowling, because she is the queen. So, but yeah, after that, I felt okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the media thing is one of those things that you kind of have to just sort of quiet. You just turn the volume down on it. Because obviously there's such a big thing about Harry Potter. You get cast in other movies and no one really cares. Your performance comes out, and then maybe a few people will write who's good or bad. But with Harry Potter, everyone's got, it's like poor Ben Affleck and the whole Batman thing, It's sort of, everyone has an opinion before you've done anything. And I remember being sat in my house, and there's a BBC website with Newsround, which always broke all the Harry Potter casting first. And I knew the day they were going to announce it, so I was sat there sort of pressing F5, kind of refreshing. And I saw it come up, and all of a sudden there were 20,000 comments. I love him, I hate him, I hope he dies. And I remember going to my mum and going, I don't like this. It wants to stop. So yeah, I deleted my Facebook. I still don't have a Facebook. I just kind of keep that whole side of things. I think what Eve said about you have the people whose opinions matter to you, and then there's everybody else.
Their opinions, I remember thinking, it'd be awful because how much I cared about the books, and if you ruin it for just one person, the character that they love so much, it really is heartbreaking. But there's so many people, there's so many Harry Potter fans, and you know, you see from the films, from fan art, from fan fiction, everyone has a different interpretation. So you have to do your as best you can for you, and hopefully get as close to them as possible. But yeah, you can't please everyone.
If you listen to everything, you will go crazy. And the other thing with James was I was in a bit of a weird spot, because obviously they'd already got Adrian. So they had all these ideas. They all know who Adrian is.
I didn't know.
Okay, so he plays James as an old man. Yeah, right, exactly. You know what I'm saying here. He died in his 20s, not his 40s. That's my issue. Yeah, so they'd already made all these decisions. So it was kind of one of those weird things. It's like wearing someone else's shoes for a bit. Although the cool thing was, my first day on set, they gave me the glasses. They said there's only 3 pairs of these. Adrian has one, Dan has one, and now you've got the 3rd one. So that was kind of neat. But yeah, it was a bit different to originate a character all on your own.
We have a question over here on your left, on your right. I mean. It's going to be a very small question.
Do you like New Zealand?
Do you like New Zealand?
Yeah, it's been fabulous.
How are we going to say no to her?
Right, that's so sweet and lovely, right?
What's your favourite colour?
Can we just do the entire thing with her?
We're an hour long waiting, we're getting through as many as we can. It'd be lovely though, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay, so favourite colour, let's move on to upstairs.
Oh, favourite colour, yellow.
Blue.
Oh, I do.
Okay, upstairs, where are you?
Hi, there's one more, I think.
One
I
more?
see it coming. Or not.
Hold that. Okay, upstairs, Damien? Yes?
Hi there. I was wondering if you could continue the Harry Potter series and make it yourself, like prequel or sequel or anything, what would you like to see?
Luna spin-off. Even just do the whole books again from Luna's point of view. That would be very different. She would, yeah, be so.
Adventures of the Marauders, of course. Not that we're biased or anything, you know.
I just love... What?
Hey, we're done.
What?
You make them, we'll be in them, job done.
Hi. I was just gonna say, first of all, I mean, it must have been an incredible experience to have done this whole thing, and I mean, first of all, if you see J.K. Rowling or Emma Watson or Rupert Grint or Daniel Radcliffe, please say hello to them from me. And also, I was wondering if you have any advice for an aspiring actress.
I've never been an actress, so I can't really...
Well, I'd appreciate your advice as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with any profession in the arts. I think that you have to just keep your imagination engaged. And for me, it's reading. I need to keep reading as many stories as I can, because I think, especially like as an actor, like as a career, it's so sort of solitary. You're not like usually in a team. You're jumping from one project to the next. So you tend to get too much in your head, very introspective. So it's good to like, yeah, for me, every time I read a book and another character's life and their wishes and their desires is so much more important than mine. And that's really what acting is. It's taking yourself out of your head and making their life, more important than yours almost. So yeah, I would say read, and then I would say like, just go and do it. Like people are always waiting for permission to act, or like you kind of are at the mercy of a lot of people, like the casting director and the director. There's so many stages you have to get through, but you shouldn't wait for that. Like if you do love it and if you want to pursue it, you should just start a group with your friends or join a group nearby and try and get an agent. And because there are a lot of resources now, it's not like it used to be where it was for a very select few. There's there's YouTube and Vimeo and everything. There's all these resources for you. So, and I think if you don't do it, you get tired and you start to forget why you love it. So you need to keep the passion alive, and otherwise you'll get bogged down in the business, which isn't it at all. So yeah, just keep that.
This is fairly obvious to everybody in here because you guys have all come dressed up and you've all thrown yourself into this. But create, and then let it go. As soon as you make it, let it go and move on. Don't define yourself by what you're doing. So many actors, they're really happy when they're working and they're absolutely distraught when they're not. You're still an artist, whether you're working on a movie or whether you're writing a play or whether you're sat eating your cornflakes. Don't get defined by what you do. Just do it and move on. And don't get obsessed with good or bad either, because at the end of the day, that's not your call. Other people decide whether you're good or bad. Just create and do it and have fun with it.
And I think from like an acting point of view, you have to try and make yourself fall in love with your characters, because that's what motivates all the work and the growth we do with the character. Because I definitely have found I get more success from auditions where I get more success from auditions where the auditions where I really love the characters and care about them, they usually will go further. Whereas if I don't care about them, sometimes I do get auditions where I'm just like, not bothered, and nothing comes of them because I don't put the work in, and I don't want to go above what is expected of me. Just stop laughing, it's over already.
That was the YouTube moment right there. No one else listens to the rest of the answer, just stop. It's fine, I don't think anyone's filming this, it's okay.
One question over here in the middle for you.
Okay, I just want to say I love you guys. It's like so perfect. It's such an honor talking to you guys. I just wanted to ask, putting your characters aside, what house do you consider yourselves in? And my friend's mom thinks Alan Rickman is attractive. Do you think the same?
I guess I don't know. How could you not think Alan Rickman's attractive?
I got sorted on Pottermore. I'm in Gryffindor. I kind of always suspected that. I'm pretty determined when I want something. And then it got J.K. Rowling official. So I'm keeping that. I'm happy with that. How about you?
I'm Gryffindor too. That's people always think she'd be Ravenclaw, but again, it's that thing. She wouldn't have gone to the Lovegood auditions. Yeah, she's not that smart.
Too many blonde moments to be in Ravenclaw.
As you just witnessed.
Okay, and a question over here, on the side here.
Hi, this is for Robbie. I'm just wondering what helped you relate to your character, because I know that there was a lot of, pressure and obviously past actors playing it. He was kind of a dick at sometimes.
He wasn't. Let's how long have we got? Let's set the record straight. He wasn't. If James had got to the point where you'd actually seen him as a man, then everyone would have known. There was no shadow of a doubt. He wasn't a dick at all. He was head boy. Lily wouldn't have gone for it if he was. She helped straighten him out. But yeah, he had a moral core as fine as anybody else's. Dumbledore trusted him right to the end. So I don't think there's any shadow of a doubt. Call me a James apologist, but no. You happen to see him at a weak moment from someone else's perspective. But he always thought of himself as a hero. That's the thing. We're all the hero in our own story. If you're not, you're a weirdo. And so I don't think there was any shadow of a doubt he was a good man and would have been a great man if he'd been given a chance. Now.
It's kind of like, I was thinking, we went to see Wicked yesterday, that show. It was so good, Chelsea, it was amazing. But it was like Glinda at the start, she was she was so nasty and mean, and then she did grow. Like she didn't stay that way. She experienced things that made her realize, oh, maybe I'm not right. Maybe I need to be more open-minded. And that is like admirable. By the end, you're like, oh, she's had an amazing journey, and she is a lovely person. You just had to uncover that.
And it's like anyone that's trying to show off or trying to impress anybody. It's always because they feel like they're missing something in themselves.
Right.
And so through Lily and Sirius, he found that, and so he didn't need to do that anymore. So he could just relax and be the guy that he was supposed to be. Now, okay, back to the other question. I always thought of it kind of cheating because they auditioned so many people for James. David said to me eventually that it was just sort of that I was more like him than all the other people. And I think it kind of, I've told this a couple of times, so if you've heard this, so now, feel free. We did this big game at one of the rounds, and everyone had to go around and hit other people on the head. All the actors, they had about 30 of us, and any one of us could have been James. So everyone was trying to move around and hit everybody else on the head. And I'm quite competitive, so I obviously wanted to win. And I noticed, while all the other actors were going around trying to hit each other, which is quite a difficult thing because everyone's moving around quickly, I noticed that there were 5 people sat in chairs just watching. Stationary targets. So one of them happened to be David Yates, one of them was David Heyman, one of them was David Barron, one of them was casting director, and one of them was casting director's assistant. So I thought, brilliant. I saw all 5 going, bah, 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 bah. And I ran back to the middle, which is what you had to do when you've won, and I just sat down, put my hand up in the air, and a massive smug smile on my face. And one of my friends who was at the audition as well, who I was basically just goofing about with, he was about 3rd or 4th, he came, sat down right next to me, and looked at me and went, you idiot. But yeah, apparently, according to David, that was kind of when they sort of went, oh yeah, you might be James. So yeah, I don't think I think they sort of saw it in me, I guess.
Okay, lovely. We've got time for 3 more questions now. Sorry, but some of you guys have been very patient. I've been asking and waiting. Upstairs, we have Damien right there. Yes. Damien has a question for the lady there.
Hi. Oh, my voice is everywhere. It was really cool seeing Luna in the films, like going off of everyone's interpretation of it. And I was wondering, what was it like playing Luna in the films? And then I know some other people will have seen it. Luna in a Harry Potter senior year.
I get more comments on Harry Potter senior year than any of the Harry Potter films. Yeah, well, obviously the Luna from the films was just my interpretation from the book and as close to. And I always was very grateful to the producers and David Yates. They really trusted me and they always asked my advice. And actually, like they asked me, to design a lot of her accessories and the lion hat. They even asked me to design some of the paintings on the wall in her house, but I had exams at the time. I had to turn that down. Which, in perspective, now Harry Potter designing a house for Luna Lovegood and exams that I don't even remember the results. I really made the wrong decision there. But yeah, I think that one was just a chance that it was for me to play. It was for me to do my version of Luna and. Really respect her and kind of, I just felt she was such an important character and she had such an interesting and valid outlook on the world and I wanted to get that across. And yeah, A Harry Potter Senior Year is a completely different story because it is a parody musical and they are poking fun at the books a bit. So Luna, and like people used to say this to me, so we kind of gave Luna, she was a bit a smoker and she was a bit more spacey because a lot of people would say to me, Luna, was she a bit of a pothead? Because she's so spacey. I'm like, no, that's just her. But I think with Harry Potter Senior Year, they were kind of hinting at that more because you can do bad things with characters. And yeah, it was just, it was a last minute thing. They had the script all planned out and they just asked me to get on board. And I was a really big fan of Star Kids, so yeah, I just said yes.
Lovely. A question over there, this side. Second last question.
Hi, if you could try any potion, which would you try?
Felix Felicis?
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, I think it's a good one because it's like just to see what your day is like if it goes perfect, and I think it would be a good psychological one to do because then you could sort of look at it and be like, well, I could have done all those things anyway. It was just my perspective because I felt lucky. So I think it would be a good one to have that just, kind of shift your perspective on the world.
That's Felix Felicis. This is embarrassing. She's the only person I've ever told this to. Before I was cast, I actually shut up. For about a year, I actually made my own Felix Felicis. I was a kid again. It constituted of pineapple juice and some secret ingredients that I'm afraid I can't tell you. That would have been it, I guess. Jesus.
Right, and last question over here.
Hi. I was just wondering if you could say I love New Zealand in your best New Zealand accents.
We were talking about this yesterday. We were like, I have absolutely no idea how to do a Kiwi accent. Just not in a million years.
Can you do that and we'll imitate you?
Oh my gosh, okay, I feel like such a hypocrite right now. I love New Zealand.
I love New Zealand.
I love New Zealand.
I can't think of a better way to end the first quick Q&A session. What do you reckon, people? Evanna and Robbie, thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions here.